Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Bobby Halton.
Morning. It's a beautiful day out there. People in Florida are envious of us today with this weather. Emergency medical services. That's an interesting turn of words. A lot's packed in there. Emergency medical services. Over the years, we all have had, or at least most of us, have had something to say about those words. However, what those words really stand for, in personification, in real life, is us, all of us. In a simple fireman's terms, medics. Whether you're a firefighter with no medical training, only common sense, or a firefighter with basic first aid level training in EMT and EMT paramedic, or advanced, on the streets, we are all medics. The common understanding of who and where we are today bears out the accuracy of that moniker, medic. It's a matter of history that our returning veterans from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, armed with the skills, techniques, tools, and talents they acquired, and in many instances they developed as aidmen, corpsmen, field medics, nurses, and forward operating docs, revolutionized emergency medical care here in America in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. It's with a very profound and tremendous sense of sadness that we look back at those Patriots' return in the 60s and 70s, the forgotten, no, really the ignored, the disrespected warriors. As brother and sister firefighters, we listened with grave remorse to the stories of our combat veteran buddies returning, Butchie, Red, Dennis, Willie P., and others, about the loadmasters on the Freedom Flights home telling the soldiers not to wear their uniforms when they were processing out, many soldiers declining to shave in hopes of blending in, of airport bathrooms full of discarded fatigues left behind by warriors who honorably bore the burden of service and now had to bear an unjust burden of scorn. There were no parades, no ticker tape, no recognition. In many cases, there was just dismissal, rebuke, rejection, ridicule for their service to our nation and for saving their fellow patriots' lives and for saving countless thousands of other lives by sharing each dearly bought lesson that they brought home. As a nation, we've come to term with those terrible mistakes of arrogance and ingratitude. As a nation, we've asked for our forgotten warriors' forgiveness, and they gave that forgiveness with grace, and we have forgiven ourselves. The inexplicable failure of our society 30 and 40 years ago, however, did not prevent any of those from stepping up to continuing to serve. Some of them are probably here today, perhaps, veterans of those times, their hair now gray with age, but still serving. Or anyone else in this most noble of callings, from stepping up and being counted on. And make no mistake about it, this is one of the most noble of all callings. None other than one of the most famous, iconic fire service leaders of all time, Ed Croker, proclaimed so in his immortal 1906 speech, "I have no ambition but one," when he said, "We are the defenders from fire of the art which has beautified the world and the product of the genius of men. But above all, our proudest endeavor is to save the lives of men, the work of God himself. But what does that mean? Proudest endeavor is to save the lives of men. You know. You know, because you overcame every normal response pattern known to man since we cut loose from our primate relatives about 7 million years ago. You know because you are a firefighter. You know because you are a medic. Those two identities are inseparable. If you labor to save lives, you are a medic. It's just that simple. Croker nailed it. It's our proudest endeavor. As firefighters, as medics, we are willing to fight the most frightening element known to mankind: death. And so to put yourself in the most high-stakes, intensely chaotic of all environments, routinely, willingly, gratefully, that's what makes you a medic. And an emergency is just that. It's a complete sensation of order. 1 minute you're driving down Highway 92, and the next thing you know, you're waking up and people in uniforms are telling you that everything's gonna be okay. In that chaotic moment, you don't even know what okay is, but they do. It means you're not gonna die today, not on their watch. It means you're gonna see tomorrow in whatever glorious way God has in store for you. Seeing your kids, your husband, saving your heart, your leg, giving you a shot at more tomorrows. That's an amazingly dangerous place to want to function. An incredibly risky place for every medic, for every firefighter, physically, emotionally, spiritually, because failure in what we do so routinely, man, it's so costly, so deeply connected to our sense of good. You know, the modern medics trace the lineage back to Florence Nightingale, Clara Burton, who during the Civil War founded the American Red Cross. Their incredible heroics provided aid and comfort and supplies and care during some of the most horrific warfare in history. And then there was Desmond T. Doss, United States Army Infantry. On Okinawa, he was a company aid man. But Desmond refused to touch a gun on religious grounds. Yet nonetheless, he deployed forward unarmed. After an assault up a jagged 400-foot escarpment, our troops came under brutally deadly fire, inflicting massive casualties and driving the assault back. But Private Doss refused to take cover. He stayed in the deadly area with the stricken, carrying them one by one to the escarpment, where he lowered them hand over hand on a rope-supported litter. For the next 16 days, he crawled under grenade attacks, machine gun fire, sometimes within just a few yards of the enemy. He was seriously wounded by a grenade explosion, and rather than call another aid man from cover, he waited 5 hours for the litter bearers to reach him. As they're taking Desmond out, they come under tank attack. Desmond sees a more wounded soldier nearby, gets off the litter, and directs the litter bearers to take the other soldier. While awaiting the litter bearer's return, he gets shot in the arm, fracturing it. This time, with magnificent fortitude, he bandages a rifle stock to his shoulder and then crawls 300 yards over incredibly brutal terrain to the aid station. He rescued 75 men. Doss became a symbol throughout the 77th Infantry and the Medal of Honor community for outstanding gallantry above and beyond the call of duty. June 26 1969, 20-year-old infantryman Dennis Joyner, with a wife and a newborn son stateside, tripped a landmine while out on patrol. The explosion blew off his right leg, shredded his other leg so bad it had to be amputated, and took off his arm below the elbow. Joyner should have bled to death or died from shock. But instantly, his sergeant yells, "Doc!" Dewey Doc Hayes, through the confusion and chaos and gunfire, took over. Working with the sergeant, they give Joyner morphine. They applied tourniquets. Together, they do pressure dressings on Dennis's shattered limbs. All techniques that they developed at tremendous cost in combat. A helicopter was called in to dust off Dennis. Dennis was medevaced out and is alive today. And so is Doc Hayes. 2005, lone survivor Marcus Luttrell, part of an ill-fated SEAL team, who, vastly outnumbered, fought with incredible distinction, defending one another, and who fell one by one until only Luttrell survived. Luttrell was saved by stumbling upon two compassionate Afghanis who took him back to their village. Rangers in Green Beret voluntarily went downrange and secured Marcus. The medics recognized Marcus could never make that climb out, and they knew a dust-off was needed. This would be one of the most dangerous medevacs in all of military history. Altitude would be a challenge for the HH-60s. So the pilots, understanding this, gave instructions to lighten the birds. Two PJs, para-rescue combat medics, voluntarily chose to doff their body armor. They chose to remove their plates. Staff Sergeant Chris Perchecki and Pararescue Master Sergeant Josh Apple voluntarily went downrange under gunfire without any body armor. Checki had been with the Albuquerque Fire Department, where he was a firefighter medic. Josh was an ER tech, going to medical school. After 9/11, neither of them could stand by. They went in. They went pararescue. They were docs. They were medics. When a lunatic, heavily armed, barricaded in a hotel room above a country music festival, opened fire in Las Vegas, raining hell down on the unprotected, slaughtering the innocent, medics stepped up. Firefighters and cops on duty and off, medics on duty and off stepped up and willingly put themselves in harm's way to treat the wounded. Warfighters, former warfighters in the crowd stepped up. Dozens of heroes from all walks of life, Americans, stepped up to accomplish our proudest endeavor. We owe all of you, every firefighter, every medic, every one of our docs, a ticker tape parade. All of you, Clara, Florence, Desmond, Checky, Josh, Dewey, every firefighter, every medic, everyone who responded from the beaches of Normandy to Las Vegas, and you, all of you. It's almost incomprehensible that in many organizations, medics are, as our forgotten warriors were, discounted, abused, neglected, demeaned. I've made some of those ignorant, stupid, insensitive comments myself. I'm ashamed of it, and I have no excuse. Ridiculing our brother and sister medics, even indirectly, with jokes like EMS, every minute sucks, or who's riding the pus bus, they're shameful. It's inexcusable. It was wrong, and I promise you I'll never do it again. It just needs to stop now. Croker was right. Our highest highs are when we save a life at a fire, doing CPR, clearing an airway, stopping a bleed. It doesn't matter how or where. It's our proudest endeavor. Maybe Maybe it's because folks like Clara, Florence, Desmond, Checky, Dewey, Josh, you're humble, you're kind, you're decent. You're not doing this work for recognition or glory. You don't study endlessly, drill continuously, train endlessly because you want to be famous or special. Firefighters, medics do it because we care. We honestly and deeply care about human life, dignity, and helping those in peril, regardless of their station in life. We listened yesterday to the stories of medics Brad Clark, Mitch Moran, Ricky Manti, yesterday with pride, and rightfully so. We listened to that story of Ricky Manti with Greg Picard and Mitch Moran dragging a man out to rescue him. They were doing EMS. They were burning alive. They were willing to sacrifice themselves in the most horrific death imaginable because Ricky knew, Mitch knew that they had a responsibility as medics to do EMS, to do everything they could to try to buy Lieutenant Wallace another tomorrow. He was burning alive. He was literally giving himself up so another man could have a tomorrow. That man right there, Ricky Manti, the Desmond Doss of our generation. Stand up. The next time some jackwagon starts to talk bad about EMS, you tell him you're friends with Ricky. And if you got something to say after that, I got a hose tower and a date for you. We should remember that the greatest moment in history was exemplified by Captain Patty Brown, who, like many others, refused to evacuate the towers, not because they were fighting the fire, they were doing EMS. To quote Captain Brown, "We have injured people here, and we're not leaving them." They had people they were caring for. They were accomplishing our proudest endeavor. Yes, EMS is tough. Mentally, it's a lot tougher than fighting fire. Emotionally, it's a lot tougher. But we do it because at 3 a.m. on some cold, wet Highway 92, some poor sleepy stranger fell asleep and rolled their car. And you were home asleep in bed like volunteer firefighter Tommy Merrill, or you were on duty like Battalion Chief Eric Roden, or you were driving behind him like former Navy Corpsman Ricky Doc Lasky Jr., or you were manning Life Flight like Firefighter Cancer Support Network founder Mike DeBron, who all choose to be medics, who all choose to be firefighters, who chose to be the ones to put themselves between life and death, between chaos and order, between kindness and indifference. You do it for the same reason every other medic does it, because that's what makes us the bravest of the brave. Every American knows if their lives are suddenly threatened and their tomorrows are endangered, our docs will come. Our medics will come despite the risks. Our medics will come despite the danger. Medics will come on engines, on ambulances, on squads, in helicopters, truck companies, and chief's buggies. Medics like Desmond, Josh, Checky, Patty, Ricky, Dewey, Mitch, and you will never leave anyone behind, ever. It's about damn time the fire service and our society at large stand up and give all of our medics the respect and gratitude they so justly deserve. It's about damn time our medics show the same pride and honor that we show to our EMS division, our rescue companies, our hazmat units, our squads, our special rescues, and our dive teams. Every company, every firefighter, every medic is focused and has been as long as our distinguished tradition has existed in the pursuit of our proudest endeavor. It's about damn time we say thank you to EMS for your dedication, your dignity, and for all you firefighters out there, it's time to start wearing our medic colors a little more proudly, a little more boldly. For myself, I'm damn proud to be standing here on this stage as a medic firefighter. I'm damn proud to be standing next to Ricky Manti and Doc McAvoy. We're damn proud to be America's medics. The American Fire Service, first and foremost, cares about life. First and foremost, cares about life. God bless our docs.
Hang out for a minute, please. Switch my body center, which means a little bit all. There's another brother behind you, go!